Thank you so much again for joining me and welcome to another episode. And today we're going to look at what layoffs reveal about the soul of your workplace. There is so much going on right now, so much layoffs that are going right now. And in that process, we are learning quite a lot. And today, the intention here is that this experience, probably if you've been laid off recently, it has opened a window to something you did not expect or did not know. And I hope at the end, if you're watching me or listening to me, that at the end you will learn something very, very crucial. So, what layoffs reveal about the soul of your workplace? So I've structured the video in terms of areas, and the first thing I want you to listen to me, it's about that silence after the storm. Now, every layoff has two tragedies. One is that you're losing your job. The second tragedy is realizing who among your colleagues or your workmate does not call. Now, chances are it is not the termination email that haunts you. It's usually that quietness that follows. It's usually those unread messages you've sent on WhatsApp. The colleagues who once filled your days with banter, some of them now will start pretending they never knew you. And somewhere in that silence, in your mind, a question forms. Were my workplace relationships ever real? Now, I interacted with one former colleague who was an employee somewhere. And the reason that's why I interacted with her is because I'd seen her write something on LinkedIn once she was laid off. And two statements came out, at least for me. And I'm going to quote, "I thought we were family. Turns out we were just co-workers on the same Wi-Fi." She continued. She said, "I was naive." Now, these aren't just emotions. It's a diagnosis that she has done about what is the effect of a layoff. What normally happens is that they reveal something really deep about what our companies, our organizations really are beneath that beautiful terms they use, like teamwork, or we are family, or building a culture. Here we are family. Here we are one team. Okay? So, second part of my video today is, let's be honest, that a job at its core is a transaction. In essence, it's labor for money. The we are family narratives is usually a company or corporate sugarcoating designed to inspire loyalty and, of course, get out that effort we put to better ourselves in terms of our relationships with the outside world or other people. Remember, when budgets tighten, that's when you see the masks fall off. Now, what you're experiencing right now, that silence that follows layoff, is not cruel by its nature. And remember that. But usually, it's fear, is the awkwardness, is the obedience that the ones who've left behind are struggling with. So, for example, let's look at fear. Chances are there are people in the former company who feel that, am I next? So what they are doing, they are self-protecting themselves. In essence, trying to contact laid off colleagues feels like you're touching an electric fence. Okay, so they're afraid. There are those who have an awkwardness interaction or some guilt that they feel because they survived. Okay, and therefore they don't know what to say. They feel guilty for still having a job. And this is someone you've worked with for years. They sit next to you or they sat next to you. You went out to lunch, you hung out at work, you went for dinners and lunches and tea. So for them, silence becomes an easy out. Then there's a third feeling, corporate obedience. Many organizations usually discourage any type of contact. And a lot of employees, because they're on edge, they comply. It's not about malice or anything. It's just to realize that it's a conditioning. So therefore, know this. Most workplace friendships are what psychologists call proximity friendships. They are built on a shared space, a shared stress, or a shared enemy. In this case, an enemy could be a deadline, a client, or even another department. Remove that proximity and the bond dissolves, not because it was fake, but because these friendships were circumstantial. Third part is that I want you to seek clarity. Now that you're in this crisis, okay, seek clarity. In essence, layoffs are X-rays. They have exposed the skeleton behind the culture of the organization. So what is real? What is performance? And what is for you is survival instinct if you still have a job? So this is the uncomfortable truth. Layoffs reveal a character of that organization, of the individuals in that organization, of the board of that organization, of the owners of that company. So what you need to understand is that you need a clarity, because that's the first thing you need to do. In a crisis, masks fall off. You see who reaches out, who hides, who rationalizes silence. For me and you, is what I can tell you. That is knowledge. While it's painful, it's priceless. So embrace that. Okay? Now, if there's a layoff and you're back to work, or you know what layoff was doing to others, for you who's still working or who's just left, this is a mandate for you to diversify your portfolio. What I mean here is never invest your emotional capital in one workplace. Okay? Work friendships can be real, and we have had them and we still do. But chances are most of them are not. Okay? But also remember, they should never be the only friendships that you have. What do I mean here? Diversify just as you will your finances. Okay? Then create your own network. There's a third thing you can do. In essence, don't wait for the relationship to survive layoffs by accident. So what can I tell you is, if that relationship at work was very, very important, curate them with intent. Be the one who checks in, reach out, stay connected across jobs. If you happen to be lucky to still have a job, reach out to those who've left, connect with them, be still friends. Are you the same group? Remain the same group. If you're still on LinkedIn, you're connected, reach out. Remember, you're the CEO of your network. And opposite, in essence, if you've been laid off, reach out to your former colleagues. Don't wait for them to reach out. See if you're testing them to know, hey, who still cares. Now, here is the fourth part of my presentation, which is the soul of the question today, is that when the layoffs come, and I assure you, they will come, or they always do, eventually, okay, your organization's soul is revealed in the smallest gestures. Let me give you 3 examples. One, does the leadership communicate with humanity, or they throw in some nice legalese, like, oh, you see, the world is changing, or layoffs are must. Okay, so do they communicate with humanity? Do colleagues whisper condolences or do they offer help? Okay, do survivors feel fear or do they feel trust? So if you're an organization that is going through a layoff, ask yourself these 3 questions. Because let me tell you the truth, layoffs are not just an HR event. Mostly what I can tell you, it's a soul or a spiritual MRI looking at what is the soul of the company's culture. Now, here is something you need to know. The 5th part of my video today is that learn to build an emotional diversification. Because in the modern workspace, resilience isn't just a technical skill, it's adaptability. It's emotional diversification. So have warm relationship at work. Very, very important. But again, I repeat, but build your sense of identity, stability, belonging outside your paycheck. Okay? Your new superpower from today onwards, from this moment when you're watching this video, is to understand that corporate life is also emotional independence, caring deeply without depending completely. Okay, you care deeply without depending completely on the relationship within your workplace. So this is what layoffs reveal about the soul of the organization. Okay, and to conclude, listen, my friend, listen. Layoffs don't just reveal who lost their job, they reveal who has lost humanity. So if you've been laid off, reach out. Or if you still have a job, be caring. If you are a leader, a supervisor who is giving out the sad news, the painful news of layoffs, do that with humanity. And if you're a friend and you're working together, don't let work relationship define who your true friendships or which friendship were true. In essence, be just a human being that cares deeply. Until next time, goodbye.